Richardson with Relevate, and we are actually bringing you an updated episode of I'm Moving to North Carolina, Now What? Today, I have the pleasure and the honor of interviewing the owner and operator, Steve Burns with Red Letter Roofing. So, Steve, I'm going to turn it over to you for a second. Give us a little bit of a taste of your company. Tell us the background. How'd you even get into this industry?
I can blame my wife on that. About 30 years ago, was with dating my wife and in school, and my father-in-law was like, "Hey, what are you doing this weekend? And you want a couple dollars?" And I was like, "Yeah, yes, I would." And so I helped him put some shingle roofs on, and that was kind of the beginning of the end, I guess, for what I did. Never thought I would be a roofing contractor. I had other plans, and but here we are. It's been a good ride.
Well, it's a pretty grueling industry to be in. So I'm surprised
Mhm.
that that venture made you want to branch out on your own. So did you see the possibilities of entrepreneurship in that?
So I've always been very entrepreneurial. I've worked for myself over the years, consulting and for other contractors. And then about this is our 11th year, and in 2013, I decided that it was time
Hmm.
uh, to go for it. So Uh, we actually opened as Roof Control Services of North
Okay.
Carolina, and I had a partner at that time, and he has now exited the roofing industry and is enjoying retirement. And I purchased him out, and we rebranded, same entity, same company. We rebranded
Hmm.
in 2020, 2021 as
Okay.
Red Letter Roofing, and here we are.
So tell me a little bit about the mission and vision of your company. What makes you different than any other roofing company?
So everybody thinks that they're different, and everybody
Hmm.
thinks that like they're the very best, But I think the culture that we have, we're I'm a believer and a Christian, and we try to run our company with those values, and
Hmm.
kind of it's kind of crazy. We do a lot of ministry, but we do roofing, so we're like a ministry that does roofing, frankly, but. Um, you know, we've got some taglines that kind of were developed, and actually they come from our customers. So, exceeding expectations to set the new standard. That was a customer that gave us that in an interview, and we kind of run with that. And we built our business on the three C's: care,
Hmm.
commitment, and communication. And we kind of drive that home in all the things that we do. And it's from the top down. So yeah, that's kind of how we run our day to day, and that's how we're different. And I say, like, if you don't believe that, then you just need to try us. And um, most most people most people see that when they do business with us.
Absolutely. So I would say that the average customer probably doesn't know a ton about roofs, right? Because you think about when you own a home, what's the number of times you've actually crawled on top of your roof? Hopefully none, right? You shouldn't be up there if you don't have insurance because you're probably going to fall off. So for all of you who are getting ready to hang Christmas lights or holiday decorations, remember that's not your job. Let's hire the cherry pickers to do that. But when I'm looking at a roof, and let's say I'm buying a home, what are some things that maybe would be good indications of a well kept roof or one that is possibly showing some abnormal wear and tear or signs of destruction?
Yep. So a lot of times roofs will show staining from algae growth. Some
Hmm.
of the older shingers didn't have products in it that would stop that from happening.
Okay.
So if it's showing like some streaking or black streaking, that might be a problem, and can show that the roof is a little bit older. Many times it's just aesthetic, but
Hmm.
sometimes those can build up and could cause for deterioration as well.
Okay.
Um, the telltale sign of obviously trees and things growing out of your gutters. Can be pretty apparent, and happens more often because people don't want to get up there and clean them out. Um, Granular loss. So if
Hmm.
you're at the downspouts, a lot of times you can see where the downspouts exit. There might be a pile of granules off the roof. That could be an issue and a sign. Just very quickly. But
Hmm.
ultimately, hiring professional like us or someone to go out and take a look up close and personal is the best way.
Absolutely. So you mentioned shingles. So tell me a little bit about the different types of shingles because I feel like there's some standards, right? And what people can actually recognize.
Yep, there's all kinds of shingles. So, on the lower side, just the traditional old school three tab shingles,
Mm-hmm.
and there's varieties of architectural style, and they come in different weights and thicknesses.
Mm-hmm.
So typically, just a general term would be the thicker the product, the longer they would last. Or so there's all kinds, so low end all the way to a very, very high end shingle.
Okay. Does the design of the home impact the type of shingle, or is it all just about cost value?
So, you know, yes, I think that the design of the home,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of want to match the shingle to the design of the home,
Okay.
and the budget that you might have to replace the roof, if you need to replace it. But there's tons of colors and shapes and
Mm-hmm.
uh, things that you can choose from as far as that goes.
So, speaking of a roof replacement, walk me through if you can in 30 seconds or less, right? What does that process look like if we've had a major storm come through and now I've had you guys come out and visit my home and you're telling me that I need a full roof replacement because the storm just did some major, major damage?
Yep.
What
So
happens?
so whether it's from a storm or it's
Mhm.
just time to replace the roof, we would come out and take a look at the roof and measure it up.
Okay.
Um, Normally, when we replace a roof, we would protect the grounds with we call them the catch-alls. It's kind of like a breathable tarp almost. So we go around all of the landscaping and such, and then the roof comes off. So we would tear the roof off by hand
Mhm.
and dispose of those into either a dumpster or the dump truck or something, and then down to the decking or the wood. We inspect the wood, make sure that it's in good shape. If anything's bad, then those would be replaced. From there, depending on the roof system and level of warranty and type of home and lots of things, we would put some sort of underlayment down
Mhm.
first. Maybe like a felt paper. Maybe you guys can relate with that. But there's synthetic felts and there's
Mhm.
lots of different choices there as well. So we would put that down, and then we would install. Typically, all of our roofs would have ice and water shield, which
Mhm.
is a self-healing product in the valleys and around the penetrations and eaves and things. And then whichever shingle was chosen, we would install those. We typically hand nail as well, so we can
Okay.
control the process a little bit better than overdriving with air guns,
Mhm.
and um, and then we clean up to where hopefully you don't even know that we were there, and then we go away,
Oh yeah.
and then you're happy for a long, long time.
So I do want to come back and talk about roof warranties in a second because I do
Yeah.
feel like that's a big question a lot of people have. But let's flip to new construction. So in a lot of cases, we have buyers that are buying new homes, and
Mhm.
there is this stereotype and impression that because everything's new, it was done with perfection.
Yes, that is definitely not the
Uh
case.
huh.
So a lot of new homes. Um, I'm gonna be careful here because we do business with a lot of custom home builders
Uh huh.
that want to do the right thing and they do the right thing.
Mm hmm.
But unless you have somebody looking that knows what they're looking for, maybe it wasn't. So a lot of times corners are cut, so there might not be a drip edge on around the perimeter of the roof. They'll leave that out, and
Mm
when you're building hundreds and hundreds of homes, those sort of things add up for them. But they might not put ice and water shield down in the valleys or around the penetrations. They're going to hand nail many times because it's faster and cheaper. Um, Things like this is just looking from the ground, you may not know that's not there,
hmm. Mm hmm.
and it can be a problem down the road later. So no ice and
Yeah.
water shield in the valleys. It starts to break down over time or with movement, and then you have a big problem.
Yeah. So, I mean, moral of the story, guys, pro tip here, definitely make sure you're still getting inspections of any kind if you're buying a new construction home. Obviously, that the home is new in the sense that all the things are there for the first time, but it all really boils down to the quality of
Yeah.
craftsmanship in the process. And don't make the assumption that your local county inspectors or municipality inspectors are looking at all of those things. There's certain stuff that definitely have to meet code, but you do want to get your own general inspector out there and then your specialists as well to kind of chime in on the
Yeah,
process.
I would agree. I would add to that that even though you may have a home inspection, the roofs are a big ticket item. So
Hmm.
many times the home inspectors will have professionals that they know, like us, that can come in and look at the roof for them.
Yeah.
And many times the inspections will actually recommend and suggest that. So just ask on the front end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's circle back to the concept of warranties. Tell me about this because I think most people think that if they have a roof, they have a warranty.
Yep. So yes and no. If you have a roof, you have a warranty, but that's not always true.
Hmm.
Most of the time, we find that homeowners don't have warranties. They just have a material warranty. So they have a piece of paper that says that they have a warranty, but if you go and read it, it's literally just a material warranty, and many times they're prorated.
Hmm.
Um, there are true labor and material warranties available for residential and commercial
Hmm.
that are leak free. They cover the cost of labor and materials if there's a failure in workmanship or material, and those are offered by most of the major manufacturers.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So, speaking of warranties, I feel like this kind of ties into homeowners insurance and if there's a claim that needs to be filed. So, one of the big shifts that we've actually seen in the home insurance world is the fact that you have to look at the age of your roof when you're buying a home. So, one of the big shifts is whether or not it hits that 20-year mark.
yeah.
So, tell me a little bit if I'm on the buy side and I'm looking at the age, and let's say that the homeowner's like, I have no idea. I've only owned the home for 5 years and I know it wasn't new when I bought it. How
Yeah.
do you guys even have an indication of age?
So indication of age is hard and
Mhm.
can almost not be unless you have a contract or a copy of an invoice or a copy of the manufacturer's warranty on like a true labor and material warranty.
Mhm.
Um, then it's really can be difficult to identify the age of the roof when you're going out and looking at that. And this is kind of new to our world,
Mhm.
but can definitely be something that the homeowner should be keyed into because again, it's a big ticket item. So,
Yeah.
so no, we can't like pull a shingle. We can probably generalize the
Mhm.
age, but to get it within that 20-year mark is almost impossible.
Yeah, so to be clear, guys, HVAC systems, water heaters, they have serial numbers and manufacture dates. It's not the same with roof shingles. There's not like a number with a date stamp that
Right.
we can go back and look at.
Right. Exactly.
So, when you're buying a home, it is important that you gather as much information as possible. And sometimes, even looking at previous MLS listings for the same property can help kind of figure it out and at least hone it into, are we looking at 10 years? Are we looking at 30 years? There are some roofs that might be a little bit on the older side that are in really good condition, and some newer roofs, because of the way that they were installed, could be deteriorating faster. So, it's important that you're looking at all of that because you want to make sure you can get homeowners insurance. There's been a lot of material changes we've seen, like with polybutylene pipes, and now roofs are kind of the new thing where you may not be able to get the proper coverage post closing. So make sure you're talking to your carrier for sure.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
So, in the world of roofing, what is one of the weirdest things that you've ever had happen on one of your jobs, or maybe one of the weirdest requests, perhaps, that you've gotten from a client?
The weirdest request that I've had from a client. Gonna have to think about that a second. We've seen some crazy things
Uh huh.
through the years, commercially and residentially. We've been asked to, hey, you can. It's not that bad. We can just patch it right,
Mm hmm.
and we just need this to last for a couple years, and uh, there might be mold and bad things in the attic and underneath. Gosh, you put me on the spot with that one.
No, I know. Well, tell them about the cool story that you shared with me in regards to the homeowner that had the specialized shingles that you guys installed. And it was a pretty massive project. and he did it in honor, I believe, of his late wife.
Oh yes, what a great story. So a gentleman in the Winston-Salem market, when he built his home many years ago, his beautiful custom home on just a sprawling property, well, I mean, just beautiful.
Hmm.
His wife wanted to put terracotta tile on the roof,
Yeah.
and she, for whatever reason, they were cutting back or reached their limit on the funds for the project, so they did not do that. Well, his wife passed, and it was time for a new roof, and he chose to go with a synthetic uh, tile product by Brava, and
Hmm.
put the roof on in honor of his wife. It was it was a tearjerker moment, but very sweet, and that's a I'll remember that project for a long time.
And I'm sure he was so appreciative,
He,
and every time he walks into his home, he's definitely going to keep that in mind.
yes, beautiful home and a wonderful man. Yeah.
Well, before we wrap up, I definitely want to ask you, is there something that folks need to know about you or your company that is just kind of a sticking point of how you guys rise above? Because I know that my impression of your company is that you guys have integrity and that you're honest and you're going to do right by the client.
We will always do right. We will always do right by the client. I'm not saying we're perfect. Sometimes we make mistakes, but we will stand by our work. I've we've torn roofs off that I didn't like and
Hmm.
replaced portions of them when we went and finished, and it just wasn't quite to our standard. You know, sometimes that's our fault, sometimes it's not, but we just we do those sort of things. But I think comes to mind right now is a lot of times folks will purchase on price.
Hmm.
And yes, certainly we are competitive on price in our business, but uh, some of our best customers that we have today are from lost projects.
Hmm.
And I shared this yesterday in our group, but just this week we had a large commercial project we were looking at. Um, we had the opportunity to look at this project on about 5 or 6 years ago, and the ownership chose to go another route. We were brought back in, and I was like, I recognize this property, and
Hmm.
they chose to go a route that probably was not the best thing to do for the building based on the construction. And now, 5 years later, the roof is failing on a very large commercial job, and they went away that they should not have gone, frankly, and it's going to end up costing them more now in the long run. So. Um, I could tell you many stories like that now where we could go back and people choose to use us now after the fact and know that, well, maybe we should listen to you on the front side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's really important to remember. Well, Steve, I really appreciate you being here
Yes.
and giving us a nutshell on what to look for because you're right. This is a big ticket item. And I think it's something that a lot of buyers and sellers really don't know how to manage on their own. So it's important to have a vendor and a small business and a company that you can trust to walk you through the process and to take care of you and your family.
Yeah. And if you want to learn more or check out some cool projects, you can visit our website at redletterroofing.com.
Well, he stole my thunder. This is
Ah,
how you guys find them on the interwebs out here. So make sure that you're checking out their website, and we'll also have their contact information in the bottom of this episode in the description. And if you have future questions, drop those in the comments. We would love to engage with you and get those answered for you. I'm Laura Richardson with Relevate, and we'll see you on our next episode.